And with that, we just want to let you know that there's no need to be on camera, so feel free to sit back, relax, listen to the content, and then when you are ready to ask questions, feel free to do so via the chat or Q&A. Otherwise, we can wait till the end to open that all up. With that, I will hand it over to Trista, our director of One Stop, and she will share her screen and we'll go from there.
Wonderful. Thanks so much, Stephen. Can you hear me okay? Sometimes my mic does
Yep,
weird things.
you're good.
Okay, excellent. Thank you very much for the introduction. I am going to share my screen and we can get started. Okay, so good morning slash afternoon, wherever anybody is. My name is Trista San Augustine, and I am the director of our One Stop office here on campus. And I am joined today by Tammy Oh, who will share a couple slides about halfway through the presentation with regard to health insurance. But our one-stop office is a combination of three critical offices here on our Santa Clara campus. Our bursar's office, which is just a fancy university terminology for billing office, our payment office, and our financial aid office, and also our office of the registrar. So we have found that questions regarding any of those three offices slash topics sort of morph one into another. Students can't register for classes for the next term without first paying their bill from the prior term. And most students have some sort of financial aid, grants, scholarships, loans, work study that help them to pay their bill. So we realized that rather than transferring calls from one department to another or having students walk from one department to another, was really not as efficient as just having our staff cross-trained here in the One Stop to assist with questions regarding anything finance related. So that's what we'll be presenting on today to let everybody know the quickest, most convenient ways to pay and how to view bills and how parents can get access to the billing information online through the authorized payer portal. So we'll go ahead and get started. We are responsible for creating the student account. So all students in their Workday portal have access to a student account, which shows all of their charges and their financial aid, how much they owe. All of that information as well is available to parents and other family members if they are set up as a payer. And we'll go over that as well in a minute. The billing statements consist of tuition, fees, health insurance, tuition insurance, room and board. So all the charges minus the accepted and approved financial aid so that as families who are paying, you can see exactly the net amount that we're asking you to pay by the due date. We are also we administer the payment portal. So that's where parents can log in with their own username and password to view bills, make payments, and so on. We also offer a payment plan option that we administer as well. And our office processes refunds, so any overpayments of financial aid that families will need to pay for any off-campus expenses. We process those as well. So pretty much anything money related, you're welcome to reach out to our office. So the students are the students of record here at the university. So they're the ones that are registering for classes, attending, sitting in the seat, attending classes, doing the work, getting their requirements completed and getting their diploma ultimately. So what that means is that our students are the financially responsible party. They are responsible for making sure that their student account remains in good standing, remains at a zero balance, and that bills are paid on time. We realize, however, that parents play a huge role in that. But we pride ourselves on creating sort of an education outside the classroom. So over the 4 years, we see huge growth in students sort of understanding the process, taking responsibility for that. So we are always willing and able to help the students as far as financial responsibility goes. Student, you may have heard from your student that they have most likely already completed what is called a new student onboarding process in their Workday portal. And that is a series of steps that students are required to complete every year over the summer. So this is the first time that students are completing the onboarding steps. One of the main steps in the onboarding process is to sign an online financial agreement, which essentially is the student agreeing to being the financially responsible person and making sure that their account is paid on time and remains free of registration holds that would prevent them from registering for the next term. Students need to have completed their onboarding steps prior to registering for their classes, and most students are registering for their classes during their in-person orientation session, with the exception of the September group that will actually register online at the end of this month, so next week. So please make sure that students have completed the onboarding steps prior to registration. And students do have access to view the entire document in their workday before and after they've signed. And then for parents, you can see what the student has agreed to in the financial responsibility information here on our website. This presentation, of course, is being recorded. And in addition, at the end of the presentation, there's some QR codes as well that you can grab because this presentation is also on our website. So you can always refer back to it, whether it's the recording or just the slides. So if you're familiar with the FERPA regulation, if you have had students go through college already, you may be familiar with this. The FERPA is the Family Education Rights and Privacy Act, and this is a federal regulation, so not a Santa Clara University rule, but it is one that we need to abide by. Students attending any university must abide by the FERPA regulation, which essentially states that now that students are enrolled in higher education, they have a right to their own privacy. So the emails that you receive from the high school every day, every afternoon, showing the student's progress and how they're doing and what's happening with the student, those will not happen anymore in college. The student has a right to their own privacy, and that includes not being able to disclose information to anyone else, including parents, without the student's authorization. So even with finances, with academics, financial aid, the amount that a student owes on their bill, we cannot disclose that information unless the student authorizes us to do so. That authorization is called the FERPA release, and students can complete the FERPA release in their Workday portal. We are asking that all students who are getting any sort of assistance from parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, anyone who might want to call us or email us or ask us to share any information about the student and their finances, please have them update the FERPA release listing those people's information so that we can provide any information when you call or email. The last conversation we want to have with anyone calling is even though you pay the bill, we're so sorry that we can't talk to you because your student hasn't updated the FERPA release. Just not a conversation we want to have with our families. So we want to make sure that the FERPA release is completed by the student in their Workday portal before classes start. So this federal regulation takes effect on the first day of class. So we have a little bit of time, but we are trying to get the FERPA release updated for all students as they attend orientation so they can sort of set it and forget it. They don't have to do this at all for the next 4 years once it's done. Billing is processed electronically. So we're not going to be sending out bills in the mail, but we will be sending emails to the students each time we create a billing notification, and also to our authorized payers. So anyone who's helping the student pay or navigate financial aid or help the student in any way with their fees should be set up as an authorized payer. The student, again, can set up just like the FERPA release, but a different process. The student would set up parents as authorized payers in their Workday portal, and that will allow the parents to receive an email from us containing their own username and password, where they can log on and access the billing payment portal for the next 4 years without having to text the student and say, I need your password, I need a code, I need you to forward me information, because there's no need for that. So students can view and pay their bills in their Workday portal, and parents do so in their authorized payer portal. And you will see that on the billing statements, we have line by line all of the charges, minus line by line all of the financial aid or credits, and then you'll see the net amount that you owe. And for those who log in now to their Workday portal or to their authorized payer portal, will probably see a credit balance of $500, or that amount shown in parentheses, which identifies a credit balance. So the $500 admission deposit that you made to let us know that the student is attending or will be attending, that $500 admission deposit will go towards the first bill that we generate coming up on August 1st. And so in addition to the housing deposit, if you did make a the tuition deposit, if you made a $500 housing deposit, those will also, not at this moment, but before August 1st, will be reflected on the student account. So you're actually going into the fall bill on August 1st with $1,000 credit balance that's going to be used to reduce the fall bill, which is due on August 21st. So nice segue, when to pay. These payment deadlines never change. We always ask families to pay on the 21st of the month that we bill. So because we're a quarter school, we have 3 terms, so a little bit quicker of a process than the semester schools. Each of our 3 quarters are 10 weeks long, and we have 1 week of finals and then a quick break, and then we start the next term. Winter term starts in January, and spring term starts in April. And we always bill the month prior to school starting. So we will be creating the billing statement on August 1st that shows just the fall quarter information. And again, students and their authorized payers will receive an email reminder reminding you to log into your portal and view the billing statement, and you can pay as well in that portal. The due dates are the 21st of August, December, and March. And we do actually create a billing statement every month on the 1st. These August, December, and March are just the billing time periods with the tuition and room and board for the term. We create bills every month just in case there's some smaller incidental fees. If a student visits the health center and they're charged a $20 copay, for instance, that bill might show up, or that charge rather might show up on a subsequent bill on September 1st, October 1st, November 1st, or January, February, April, and May. So we do create the billing statements every month. Most of those non-specific months will have a zero balance. We just ask that families get in the habit of marking the calendar, logging in just to view that the bill is zero, and then you can forget about it until the next big bill comes along on August, December, and March. Those are the big ones that have all the quarterly charges. Costs that are not paid by the 21st of each of these months is subject to a $100 late payment fee. And more importantly for the students, a registration hold, which will prevent future registration. We really don't want to set students up for failure by allowing them to register for additional classes and assess additional fees if they're struggling with paying for the current term or a prior term. So we do apply a registration hold on students' accounts that are past due. Once a payment is made, even if it's after the due date, once the payment's made and the account is back in good standing, that hold comes off right away so the student can register for the next terms. So different payment methods here are preferred method if you are paying using a regular checking or savings account. Our preferred method is for you to simply, students can log on to their Workday portal and pay, or parents can log on to their authorized payer portal to make a payment online directly from their checking or savings account. We do not take credit cards and we do not take cash payments in the office. So the online payment method is a payment from a regular checking or savings account. We also ask that families not use the 16-digit debit card number, the number on the front of your debit card. That will cause a returned payment. So that's your debit card number, but not your actual checking account number. So when we log on to pay, and we'll show some slides coming up here, we want to make sure to use the actual checking or savings account number. For families who are paying from an international bank, we partner with a company called Flywire who has a best price match guarantee so that Flywire is always going to be more competitive and less expensive than a regular bank-to-bank wire transfer. So they will match not only the conversion rate, but the wire transfer fees. So Flywire is very easy, safe, and secure. And you can find the Flywire link in your authorized payer portal as a payment option. It's also on our one-stop website on the homepage. There's an option there to make an international payment through Flywire. And for those families who are paying through a 529 college savings account, we simply ask that anytime after August 1st, when the bill is due, but before August, or excuse me, when the bill is created, but before August 21st, when the bill is due, simply make a phone call to your 529 provider, the 800 number, let them know that your student is attending Santa Clara University. You will want to provide the company with your student name, of course, and their SCU student ID number. And when you contact the company, please ask them to confirm or verify that Santa Clara is set up in their system for electronic funds transfer. This electronic funds transfer is very easy, very secure, very safe, and very quick. Usually takes a payment about 1 to 2 business days to get to us. So that is our preferred method for getting 529 college savings money over to us. The money comes directly to the university and is credited directly to your student account, to your student's account to cover the fees. So please ask your specific company if Santa Clara is set up. If not, no worries. They will simply cut a check payable to Santa Clara University and mail that off to our PO box that's shown here. So again, start a little bit earlier, a little bit closer to the August 1st to set up these payments just in case a check has to be cut and mailed. We want to allow a few business days for the company to cut that check and then another quite a few business days for mailing. We find that the 21 days that we allow between when you get the bill and when the bill is due is more than enough time to get a paper check cut and out to us. So you want to initiate that process shortly after the first of the month, and then we'll get that check in the mail. We process our payments every day that when the payment comes in, so everything will be on time. And again, the processor just needs the student name, student ID number, and how much you are asking them to pay us each quarter. The next few screens that I have here are just simply going to be screenshots of what parents will see as authorized payers. So the process of setup is that the student will initiate or set up the authorized payer. They will go into their Workday portal. They will choose the make a payment option in their Workday portal. Even though the student is not making a payment, that is simply the gateway to get them to set you up as an authorized payer. So in Workday, the student clicks make a payment. They move forward into the authorized payer portal, and they can set you up as a payer by choosing the My Account option in the authorized payer payment portal. You will then receive an email from our office. So as parent authorized payers, you'll get an email from SCU, one stop at scu.edu. And that email will contain your username and temporary password, which you will enter in on this screen here. The link will also be in the email that you receive. So again, students set you up, and then you'll be able to log into the system. The My Account option at the top here is where the students who have access through their Workday portal will set you up as a payer. And then once you're logged in and you've changed your password and saved the password somewhere, wherever you save your passwords, you will use your username and password to log into your authorized payer portal for the next 4 years, or however long the student is here. And you will see a screen such as this. This is the home page of the authorized payer portal. This is the overview screen. The overview is simply just that. It's a quick and dirty, how much do I owe? The due now amount that is showing here is actually the amount that we're asking families to pay. So the total account balance does not include financial aid. So a lot of times that will look overinflated, but the due now account is what we're asking families to pay. And then the past due, current due, and future due has more to do with what amount is due when. But again, the due now will always be due on that next 21st of the month. As an authorized payer, who will be paying through their regular checking or savings account, we're asking you, once you log in as a payer, you will go to the My Account option and simply add a payment method. This is where you will put your bank account number and routing number. You will save this information by naming the account. So mom's checking, dad's checking, use this account to pay, however you want to name your account. That way, when you log in, when payments are due, you can simply choose that bank account and make that payment just within seconds. For those who still have checkbooks sitting around somewhere, the routing number is the 9-digit number on the left-hand side of your checks. That number identifies the bank that you bank with. And your account number is your specific account number that the bank has assigned to you. Both of those numbers are needed in order to set up a payment method and to save that in your authorized payer portal. And of course, you can view this information on your online banking as well. So if you use online banking, you can get your routing number and account number from there and enter it into the authorized payer add a payment method option. For those families who are paying through their regular checking or savings account, you have the option to either make a payment and pay in full for that particular quarter by the due date. So pay in full for fall by August 21st, pay in full for winter by December 21st, and pay in full for spring by March 21st. Or if for budgeting purposes, it helps to split up those payments into monthly payments, we offer a 3-month payment plan each quarter. So we don't offer a 9-month payment plan that you just pay all the way throughout the year, but we give you the option each quarter to either choose to pay in full or enroll in a 3-month payment plan. And the payment plan you can enroll in on your authorized payer portal as well, and students can enroll in their Workday portal. So once we bill on August 1st, you'll be able to log in and you'll see a payment plan option on the left-hand navigation of the authorized payer portal, and you'll choose this view payment plan option button, and the system actually does the math for you. So we're going to take all of your charges minus all of your financial aid, which gives us the net amount that you owe, and then the payment plan will divide that amount equally by 3, and you will make the first payment when you enroll in the plan, anytime between August 1st and August 21st. And then the subsequent payments for fall will be auto debit from the bank account that you use to set it up on September 15th and October 15th. And then your fall payment plan is done, expired. Your costs are paid in full at that point, and you're done. And then you have the option to do the same thing in December for the winter term. Log in and enroll in the payment plan and make your first payment in December. And your payments will be auto debit on January, your subsequent payments on January and February 15th. And the final payment plan, if you choose to enroll a third time, would be anytime between March 1st and March 21st. And your subsequent payments would be in April and May on the 15th of each of those months, auto debit, and then you're done for the year. For each payment plan for each quarter, if you decide to enroll in the payment plan, there is a $40 enrollment fee that is added to the first payment. So your August, December, and March payment will include the $40 fee. And then, of course, at the end, once you're done paying those 3 payments for each term, that payment plan is closed. It is paid in full and now obsolete, which means that you'll need to re-enroll in a new payment plan if you choose to do so for the next term. Those who are choosing to make a payment in full by the 21st of each term, you simply will choose this make a payment option, and the amount here will be pre-populated. But if you have multiple people paying your bill, so grandparents are contributing, parent 1 is paying half, parent 2 is paying half, whatever it is, you can edit the dollar amount here in this field and pay just your portion, and then others are invited to be authorized payers as well and can make their portion of the payment. So as long as the entire balance is paid by the due date of the 21st, we will accept payment from anyone and at any point between the 1st and the 21st. The payment plan option that we just spoke of is not an option showing on this screenshot, but it absolutely will be an option when you log in August. It just wasn't available when I took this screenshot. So I believe the payment plan option you'll see right under this make a payment option. And for those who want to see all of the detail that you're paying for, the statement is what you'll want to view. So you can simply log in and choose statements, and then choose the view option here for the statement that you want to view. And that will open up a PDF of the statement. So again, we bill every month, and every month you will have a statement. The ones with the most information on it, of course, are the August, December, and March statement. If you're 529 or a family member or anyone else needs a copy of this statement, you can simply save the PDF to your computer and email it off to whomever needs it. Super convenient. This is a sample statement, so this is what all of the statements will look like. The due date up at the top with the total amount due, and then our PO box. We have a PO box specifically for payments, so we don't want our payments to be commingled with our other university mail because we receive so much of it, and we just don't want our payments to get lost or sent to the wrong department. So all payments should go to our PO box unless for some reason you're overnighting a payment and you need the overnight street address. We have that as well. Everything else can go to the PO box, and it will show all of your statement activity. So all of the charges and any credits on your account, and then line by line will be listed line by line. The anticipated financial aid will also be listed line by line so that you see the total amount due down at the bottom. And that translates to the due now amount on your payment portal on the overview screen. So for the next couple slides here, we're going to be talking about two different types of insurance. I will go over this tuition insurance, and then and then Tammy will talk to you about the student health insurance. This doer's tuition insurance is similar to other types of insurance that we pay for, more homeowners insurance, travel insurance, renters insurance, car insurance, all of those insurances that we purchase, but we hope we never have to use, right? So this tuition insurance is an insurance policy that all undergraduate students are enrolled in, and they're automatically enrolled and charged $54 per term. So a total annual fee of $162. This $54 that you're paying for the insurance can cover 80% of the out-of-pocket tuition cost for any student who needs to withdraw from the university during any term for a diagnosed medical or mental health reason. So again, we all hope that the students attend, they don't get sick, they don't have any medical issues or reasons to withdraw from a term. But if a student needs to withdraw from a specific quarter, planning to come back in a future term, or decides that Santa Clara is not the place for them and they need to withdraw, if the withdrawal is due to a diagnosed medical or mental health reason, the doer's tuition insurance kicks in, and for a small fee of $54, we've seen this insurance save families thousands and thousands of dollars. Tuition is expensive, and it gets expensive very quickly if a student decides to withdraw or needs to withdraw in week 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. What we want to do is ease the minds of the families to make sure that if a student has a medical or mental health situation and needs to withdraw, that we're concentrating on caring for the student and not so much worrying about the money piece, because it will be 80% will be covered by the tuition insurance. And that way we can concentrate our efforts on making sure the student withdraws during the time period that they need to, and we're not rushing them to make a decision to withdraw. And if you prefer not to have your student enrolled in the tuition insurance, you can complete a waiver online here at this website by the due date here, and the $54 charge will simply be reversed from your student account. And that waiver is good for the entire year. If you waive for the year and then decide in winter and spring you want to have the student enrolled, that's fine too. You can call the insurance company here and re-enroll the student in the insurance, and then we will charge them. This is an annual waiver, so we will send information out every summer to students who who might need to complete the waiver. So at this point, we'll have a few slides here on the student health insurance, different from the doer's tuition insurance, and Tammy will go over that now. So Tammy, go ahead and take it away.
Thank you, Trista. My name is Tammy. I am the Student Health Insurance Coordinator at Santa Clara University, and I'm going to be going over the student health insurance. So, Santa Clara University is a hard waiver school, which means students are automatically charged and enrolled for the student health insurance. And this would mean that students enrolled half-time, which is 6 units or more, or F1 students enrolled in 1 unit or more will be enrolled in health insurance. This health insurance to make sure that students are well taken care of in the case that they are get sick. We never want that to happen. We always want to make sure that they're here, they're healthy, and they have a great experience. But this requirement is here to ensure that students are taken care of in the event that they get sick. So the cost for the annual plan, so with the coverage start date of September 15th of 2025 to September 14th of 2026, the cost of the premium is $3,230. If you do not want to be enrolled in the student health insurance plan, then students can opt out by submitting a waiver. And that health insurance waiver is available 5 days after they've registered for classes. So after they've enrolled in 6 units or more, the health insurance waiver will be available. And the students can access the student health insurance waiver by logging into their My SCU portal and then clicking on the Gallagher tile. So there's multiple tiles when you log into your My SCU portal, such as Workday, Camino, and one of them is the Gallagher student tile. A point that I want to make here is that we also require the health insurance information in the student health portal. Filling out the student health portal with the health insurance information does not constitute a waiver. So if you fill that but don't submit the waiver, you will be enrolled and charged for the insurance. And the last day to submit a health insurance waiver for undergrads is September 26th, 2025. Keep in mind this, like also like the DUARS tuition, is an annual waiver. It needs to be completed once per academic year once students meet the eligibility requirements. So again, please remember that this needs to be completed every year. May I have the next slide, please?
Sorry, Tammy.
No worries.
Hold on just a sec. There we go. Sorry about that.
Okay. So something that we want to make sure is that we have requirements for the health insurance in order for it to meet SCU requirements. I do not know if the presentation will be available. I'm assuming it will be emailed out to everyone that registered. But this link right here that says SCU requirements, it links to our SCU requirements. So the waiver must be approved in order for the health insurance charge to be reversed off your student account. And if Gallagher is not able to verify that your insurance meets the requirements, then your waiver will not be approved. And if your waiver is not approved, you may get one of the following status emails. One is not submitted, one is pending review, another one is pending information, and one is denied. So for if your student gets a not submitted email, this is pretty easy. It means that your waiver was not submitted. So the student should go back and submit the waiver. If the waiver is pending review, it means that the waiver has been submitted and they are checking it to make sure that it meets the information, that it meets the requirements. Pending information means that we were not able to verify your actual coverage. And so in this case, in many cases, what you would need to do is you would need to contact your insurance and get a letter that's on their letterhead dated within the past 60 days that states that your student has active coverage with your insurance. And then you have a waiver denied email that you could possibly receive. And the waiver denied email would mean it could be a number of things. It could be things like if you have an out-of-state Medicaid plan, we would deny the waiver. Or if you have a plan that doesn't meet like area requirements, say you have like an eight out-of-state HMO, that doesn't cover the student while they're in Santa Clara, you might get that. Or your coverage is no longer active. In this case, you would need to provide documentation from your insurance that it's active in the case of a, coverage not active, or in the case that it's a coverage area issue and you know that your insurance meets the requirements. And then in that case, you would need to get documentation from your insurance, the same thing again, that's stated within the past 60 days, that's states that your plan has meets the requirements. Can I get the next slide, please?
Sure.
Oh, I think it was the one before that. I think it was,
Oh, I
yeah.
think I skipped. Sorry
Yeah,
about
that's all
that.
right. So for student health insurance, the following insurance we do not accept for the health insurance waiver. So this could be travel insurance, international plans that are underwritten in a country outside the United States, California, Medi-Cal, or out-of-state Medicaid that do not have assigned benefit coverage in Santa Clara County, short-term medical plans, socialized medicine plans, including Canadian policies, or a limited or restricted plan network that does not provide full comprehensive coverage, such as an out-of-state HMO or, like I said, an out-of-state Medicaid plan. That is it for my portion of the presentation. I'm going to swing this back to Trista.
Great. Thanks, Tammy. That's lots of good information. And we do bill for the health insurance. So if you see the university health insurance at $3,000 or $3,230 on the first billing statement, that is also another reminder that the waiver has not been completed. If you are purchasing the plan, it's a great plan. We do bill all in the fall. So the total annual tuition, health insurance plan is due by August 21st. But if you have your other insurance, you'll want to complete the waiver 5 days after the student registers for their classes. So that allows time for the insurance charge to be reversed from the August 1st bill if you haven't completed the waiver already. So the next couple slides, I am going to go over a couple different definitions of the word refund. So here at the university, we have a tuition refund policy, which, going back to the information that I spoke of with regard to the doer's tuition insurance, if a student needs to completely withdraw from the university, whether or not they're intending to come back in another term or not, if they withdraw completely from the university, students have the entire first week of class to make that decision. So not a ton of time to get the tuition reversal, the tuition refund. Immediately on the Monday of the second week of class, if a student decides at that point that they want to completely withdraw from the university, immediately the tuition refund goes down to 50%. So families are paying 50% of tuition, even though the student is not getting credit for that term. So it does get expensive very quickly, but you receive the 50% tuition refund during the second week. Third week, you receive 25%. So essentially, you're paying 75% of the tuition if a student withdraws from the term in week 3. And then after week 3, there are no tuition refunds. So all the more reason for medical or mental health reasons, the student remain enrolled in the doer's tuition insurance so they can sort of take their time and really figure out, do I need to withdraw based on this medical or mental health issue, or can I stick it out and remain for the remainder of the term. So for those students that have pre-existing conditions that might be completely under control right now because they're used to the high school experience, college is a whole different thing. They're moving out of the house, they're living somewhere else, they're getting used to living with a roommate, they are taking more rigorous college courses, and of course are away from home. So lots of these things can trigger pre-existing conditions. And even for those students that are fine and perfectly healthy, medical or mental health withdrawals could happen at any point. And we just want to make sure the student's covered. So if they're not covered under the tuition insurance, these percentages apply if a student decides to withdraw from the term. So remember, full-time tuition is 12 units or more. So we charge the students a flat rate of $20,920, I believe, for 12 units or more. So students who are registering for their first term are most likely registering for four-unit classes. So right off the bat, they are enrolling in probably 16 or so units. So we charge the flat rate for 12 units or more, meaning that anything over 12 units is free because it's expensive enough. So if students are enrolling in more than 12 units, they are still charged for the 12 unit rate, which is full-time. So the second definition of refunds is when we talk about overpayments of financial aid. So if parents have applied for a parent loan for more than the tuition and on-campus room and board, and students or parents need additional money for off-campus expenses, there will be, once financial aid is credited to the student account to cover the direct costs that we bill for, any indirect costs, so money, financial aid used for books and supplies, transportation to and from school. When students choose to move off campus as a junior or senior, you may need money for paying their off-campus rent. Beginning in the second week of class, we will begin the refund process of sending any overpayment back to you. So as part of the students' onboarding that we talked about in the beginning, first couple slides, there is an option for students to set up their payment elections, which is essentially setting up direct deposit solely for the purposes of the university paying the student or parent back. So the direct deposit that students can update in their Workday portal can be the parent's checking account or the student's checking account. That's a decision that you as the family can make, where the money goes if and when there is a credit balance or an overpayment on the student account. It doesn't always happen. If families would prefer that any overpayment remain on the account, so maybe a 529 college savings account is we receive an overpayment, and you want that money to just roll over from term to term, or you're paying out of pocket and you want the credit balance to remain on the account, students can place what is called a no refund note or no refund hold. They can do it on their Workday portal so that we know, okay, this overpayment, the family wants to keep it on the student account rather than have it refunded back. And so that is what the no refund hold is for, and also the direct deposit. So a couple homework items, just reminders that the payment deadlines are the 21st of each month, even though we send students multiple reminder emails, and we also send authorized payers reminder emails. If you have a process for whatever your calendaring process is, please mark your calendar, whether it's in your phone, on your computer, a wall calendar, desk calendar. Mark these payment deadlines down, because if your email inbox is a little inundated with other crazy stuff like mine, sometimes those emails get missed. And we want you to just have a safety net of knowing that, oh, right, tuition due date is coming up and I need to make sure to pay that by the due date. Remind your students to set up an authorized payer. That's a one and done. We set up the payer. We have the students set up the payer. You, as the payer, will get an email from us and finish the setup process. And then you'll have access to the authorized payer portal for the next 4 years. And then our students, we also want to remind them to set up the FERPA release in their Workday portal. We definitely don't want to have to remind parents, especially the ones that are helping to pay the bill, that we can't provide you with any information. So make sure that happens. If you're opting out of the tuition insurance plan, here's the due date for that. And of course, please remind your student to complete the health insurance waiver if the student has their own, and that waiver process will show the students if their waiver has been approved, if their health insurance has been approved. The deadline, of course, is September 26th as the last day to complete waivers, but please mark the calendar for 5 days after the student registers for their classes so that we can get that waiver in and you can forget about it for the remainder of the year. And again, our one-stop office is here to help with any questions. We ask that students be involved in the process, again, because of financial responsibility. We want to make sure that students understand that their student account needs to be paid and in good standing with a zero balance by the time the payment due date. We always encourage students to come in. If you're telling them what questions to ask us, we absolutely love that. Students come in and they literally read off of their phone. My mom asked me to ask the following questions. My dad asked me to get clarification on this or that. And that involves the student. And it truly is education outside the classroom. So we want to make sure students are involved. Here is our contact information. Send us an email, give us a call during business hours, and Tammy's information is here as well. So if you have any health insurance related questions about coverage, please email Tammy or give her a call as well. And our QR codes are here for our one-stop website and also our bursar's office website. So you're welcome to grab the QR codes from here. And this presentation is on both websites. In addition, both websites have lots of information about next steps, to-do items that need to be done, and so on. So I am going to switch the slide back to our contact information while we, for the next 5 minutes, open it up to questions. Stephen, I don't know how
Yep, I got
the chat has been doing, but
I
go
got
ahead.
you. The chat and the Q&A are full. I think what's going to happen is we will send there's over 20 questions and we want to get to them all. So I'm going to send these questions to Trista and Tammy to get them answered, and they will go out alongside the recording that I will send you all as soon as I can. Again, there are 20 questions here, so it will take some time for our presenters to respond to them, but I'll get that recording out as soon as possible. Since Guillermo has had his hand raised for a minute, I'm going to turn on the ability to allow you to unmute yourself, and we'll run with Guillermo's question. If that takes us all the way till 1, again, I will get all of these questions answered for you, but we'll start with Guillermo.
Thank you. I will be really quick. Do outside private scholarships needs to be added to as an authorized payer? She's getting a lot of different loans, different scholarships from different entities. So they
Yeah,
need to be
excellent
added?
question. Yes, thank you for that question. No, outside scholarship donors don't necessarily need to be added as a payer unless they want to pay using a regular checking or savings account. A business account for the donor will not work with our online payment. So generally what we see with students who have applied for outside scholarships and been awarded those scholarships, the scholarship donor will mail us a check, and they will mail the check to our street address attention financial aid office so that the check along with the scholarship award letter comes to us. And then we will add the scholarship amount to the student's financial aid award, and the scholarship will disperse as part of financial aid. So setting up a scholarship donor as an authorized payer actually switches it and it's not a scholarship anymore. So anyone can pay, but if it's a scholarship, that needs to go through our financial aid office. So we want to make sure that the physical checks are mailed to us so that we know it's a scholarship. Hopefully that
Muchas
helps.
gracias. Gracias.
I'm muted. Let's go Anna and then we'll go Vaughn.
Oh, hi. I have a question about the student health insurance. Student athletes treated any differently in terms of do they need additional or can they roll with that insurance?
So all students are required to have health insurance, and student athletes must have insurance that meets the student health insurance requirements. And from what I understand, there is additional insurance that athletics purchases in the case that they're hurt on the field while in competition. But that is a question that is for uh, the athletics department. But in regards to the student health insurance requirements for student athletes, the requirements are the same.
Okay, thank you.
Vaughn, did you have a question?
Yes, I did.
Great.
My question is the students is using the GI Bill. I believe the GI Bill would not pay by the August 21st deadline. So would that mean that I would have to pay the amount up front?
No, that is a great question. We are not asking families to pay what another type of benefit will pay. So for those students who are receiving GI Bill benefits, I am one of two coordinators, so please take down my name and you can call me at this number as well or email me with any questions that you have specifically about the GI Bill. We have a school certifying officer whose name is Yen Mai, and she is the one that actually needs the certificate of eligibility. That's the proof from VA that the student is eligible for the benefit. And then we will update that information in our system to show that the student should not be penalized for not paying in full by the deadline. We will simply wait for the VA to pay their benefit. And I will be in touch with all of the students if there is a room and board piece that needs to be paid or any other fees that need to be paid. I will email the student directly to let them know, but you do not have to pay the tuition amount by the deadline that the VA will pay. We will just simply wait for them. Yeah,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
So we are at the top of the hour. Anna, I will let you say your one last thing.
Sorry.
As
Yeah,
soon as, yeah, go for it.
sorry. Where can I find the student health insurance coverage for the SCU?
One of my colleagues will put it in the chat one more time. It's in there somewhere, but we know it gets super long, but they will add it there before we close. Because I just have a few things to say real quick. Thank you for joining us. We very much appreciate your time and willingness to hear from us. If you have any other questions related to billing, financial aid, Bursar's office, please email Trista's team at onestop@scu.edu. If you have emails for Tammy, please continue to send those to her at toh2@scu.edu, again on your screen. As I mentioned earlier, I will take this list of 22, 23 questions and make sure Tammy and Trista have them. And as soon as we can get those answered, I will send out the recording. Maybe the answers will actually follow the recording since we're in orientation sessions the next couple of days. But you will get answers to these. It just might take a little bit. But thank you again for joining us. We appreciate it. Have a good rest of your day.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Okay.